Before we started talking here, you were sharing a great story about some of the kids who've reached out to you about Pluto. And
Get over it.
yeah. But one of the things that stood out to me as I was sort of ruminating on this question is that those are kids who are now engaged with the conversation of astronomy, who have an opinion, who have been inspired to contest your position on this. And I wonder about how you inspire leadership and that type of vision in this next generation.
Yeah, that's a very important question. And I wasn't doing it with any master plan in mind. But there are ways to present the moving frontier of science where people are enchanted by it, or they want a front row seat on what's happening. And when that happens with an earlier generation, with the youth, even very early, because my field is quite accessible to very young children. You know, we all look up at night. You know, especially in Africa, you have clear skies in Africa, not light polluted skies, and you say, "What is that? It's the moon, or there's a star, or there's a planet. There's an eclipse. There's a conjunction of a crescent moon and I mean, there are things that happen that can stimulate your curiosity without having to open a textbook, and it's these taproots of curiosity which children already have, because children are born curious. But if you align that curiosity to we think of the universe and astrophysics as a gateway science, because in the universe, to know what stars and gas clouds and planets, you have to know math, you have to know chemistry, and in the search for life in the universe, you have to know some biology. So by coming in and wondering about our place in the universe, that opens up so many branches of science and technology, because we don't know anything about the universe without an engineer building it. Okay? You know, we get all the media attention when we make a discovery with an orbiting telescope or a space probe. Somebody had to build that. And that's the engineer, the unsung engineer who's behind the curtain making it. And so the engineering dimension of this is also a path you can take once your curiosity has been directed and suitably stimulated. So that's an important. So it's not just let's train a next generation of management. Mm-hmm. It's let's put things in place that can ensure that the curiosity in childhood of wonder and discovery continues up through the system, so that they don't lose it in middle school or in adulthood. And what is a curious child who retains their curiosity into adulthood? We call them scientists.
That's excellent. Peter, so I'm just thinking about this in the context.
Which Peter are you talking about?
Yes, this is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah. In the context of Kenya, which has rapidly become one of the most digitally connected countries, not only in Africa but globally. What does sparking that curiosity look like, and where have you seen it lead in your work with?
Yeah, so when Neil was talking, and I just remembered when we were still young, as youth coming up, and every night we used to get out of the house and see the stars and the moon, because he said that in Africa the sky is quite clear, and for sure it is quite clear. You'll see the moon from the beginning until it goes down. You will remember recently in Kenya we had the Gen Z demonstrations on the streets demanding accountability from the government. So when we talk about the next generation of leaders and also the curiosity that is with the young people, I think that presents very clear path on how the future probably will look like, because the youth are becoming more aware of what leadership is, what accountability is, what growth is and development. So even in terms of holding the government accountable on what they need to deliver, that will champion youth getting into the next level. That is so clear as presented from the example of Kenyan demonstrations or in the streets. But I like to mention that as we think about that curiosity, it is important to look at what parameters, what are the drivers, what will make youth get to the next level. And what will make them get to the next level, keenly, will depend on how much resources we are putting in place to support youth development, how much in terms of policy we are putting in place, and especially where we get youth involved in terms of policy design that will champion that. I like one example that I will share probably in Kenya in terms of innovation. So Kenya is fast growing in terms of technology. When you look at the M-Pesa, for example, when you look at the science on artificial intelligence, a lot of innovations are coming in. So this means that if we really want the next generation of leaders to come from the youth, then we must get them involved into the creation of different innovations and technologies that will be attractive.